Item, let us start the session ReactJS B18. So let me explain what we have covered in the last demo session, and we'll start a new session from today. Okay. So our is a ReactJS real-time project-based training. Okay. So as a part of this training, we are going to be cover designing part, coding, debugging, tools, and real-time project. Okay. So in the HTML, we are going to be covered from the basics to elements of tags, attributes, custom attributes, forms, validations, along with the responsive design and search engine optimization. All these things we are going to be covered. Next, CSS. So CSS are used to beautify the HTML content. Okay. So all the different types of CSS we can able to cover in this series. Next, CSS framework. Okay, so we have the different types of CSS frameworks are there. Bootstrap, React Bootstrap, Material UI, Tailwind CSS. Next, icons, Font Awesome, React Icons, SCSS. Okay, so these are the frameworks. So Bootstrap will be cover any one of these three, we will take it as a part of the series. Next, nowadays companies are using the CSS and SCSS. Okay, SCSS was the advanced compared to the CSS. Next, JavaScript. So our main core part of the series was JavaScript. So in the JavaScript, we are going to be learning about the data types, variables, functions, statements, storages, timers, DOM manipulations, exception handling, synchronous, asynchronous, oops, and API callings along with the standards. Okay, JavaScript follows the standards of ECMA. So yesterday session I have shown ECMA standards. Okay, so next ReactJS. In the ReactJS, we'll see from the scratch to setup features, architecture. Okay, principle of ReactJS, how to apply the stylings, real-time component, real-time services, hooks, events, virtual DOM, how to call an API dependency injection. Okay, routing and everything we'll see in detail. Okay, along with the dynamic components. Next, along with the React, we are going to be cover a React libraries, which are routing library, AXIOS, form library, validation, Redux, React.js toolkit, and NPM libraries. Okay, React styling libraries. All these libraries will cover. Not only this, we will add a few as per the project. Next, the duration of the course is 2 to 2.5 months. Daily 1 hour session, Monday to Saturday. So if you have a doubt, anytime we will connect and solve it. Daily we are going to give a task, and daily I will provide a recordings. Okay. So daily we are going to be prepared for the interview questions. Okay. So everybody having the time and investing the time to come to the sessions. Okay, I am also investing the time. So I will give my 100% effort. Everyone, please add your 100% effort. Make it a success. Okay. Either your goal is to become a full stack developer, either your goal is to change the company, or your goal is to add experience and get the company. Okay. Next, along with this, in this series, we are going to be learn about the developer tools, debugging techniques, Git, Jira, VS Code, and Agile. So this is the what we have discussed in the last session. In the real-time project, we'll pick any one of the domain. On that domain, we'll create a markup designs and we'll start a project. Okay. So this is the what we have discussed in the last session in detail. So let us start the session. Okay. So everyone, please take the notes from today. The first, we need to understand an architecture of a software application. So any application, anything, for example, you want to construct a home, you require some architecture or not. Okay, for example, you are traveling to somewhere else, you require a planning or not. So like this, if you want to develop a software application, there is architecture. Okay, so please take it software application architecture. Basically, our software application follows a three-tier architecture. So it is following the three-tier architecture. So our software application follows the three-tier architecture. Okay, so what is mean by three-tier architecture? So see here, the first tier is a user interface. The first tier is a user interface. The next tier is a API, application programming interface, API. The last tier was a database. The last tier is a database. Okay, so user interface, API, and a database. So as a user, once you are requested, US will send a request to an API. API will send a request to database. Database is the physical information storage. It will send data to API. API will send a data to UI. And finally, so it will be load on our computer. Okay. So database means what type of databases we are having? Oracle, Oracle, MS, Microsoft SQL, MySQL, MongoDB. Okay, na? So different types of databases are there. Next, API, or you can able to say it as a server. Okay, na? User interface server. In the server, we are having the Java, Python, PHP, .NET. Different technologies are there. Next, UI technologies. User interface, we are having HTML, CSS, JavaScript. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So if you want to develop a software application, so we need to understand this three-tier architecture. So in this three-tier architecture, database was the physical information storage. Server will take a response from the user interface and it will send a request to a database and it will retrieve the data sent to the UI. So server is a bridge between the user interface and the database. But why is the server? In this session, I will show. Without a server, can we develop an application? Yes. But if you are connecting directly from user interface to database, what will happen? I will show you. Next, UI is nothing but this is called a presentation. So the data is going to be represented here. Okay. So for example, so take it as a Amazon website. Okay. Na? So let me open a kind of a website. So now this website, here you can able to fill the data. You can able to see the data where you can able to purchase an item. Okay. Na? Okay. So this is called a data representation. Okay. For example, I want to purchase this protein. Okay, so here when I clicking on this one, the request is going to user interface to API or a server to a database. In the database, the physical information was stored and send it back to a UI. So for example, if server was not there, this is my server, right? If server is not there, user interface is directly connected to database, retrieve the data and display. In this case, what will happen? So in this case, what it will happen? So see here, if you are connecting directly to a server, so there is no security. So without connecting to a server, okay, sir, what is mean by security? So for example, So see here, what is the price of this item? 649 rupees, correct? So for example, if you are not using a server from UI to database is directly connecting, so in this situation, what will happen? So as a user, so how much, for example, can I buy at 6 rupees, 49 paisa? Yes, everywhere I can able to change it. Okay, so this is our developer tools. As a part of the course, we will learn it. Okay. So what is the cost of now? It is 6 rupees 49 paisa. So now the service was not there. This request, if I purchasing this one, even here also, we will change it. So what is the price? We are changing the price to 6 rupees 49 paisa. Here it is. So now I can able to purchase this product at 6 rupees 49 paisa. If I am purchasing this product, so in this situation, is it software was valid? No, the software application was not valid. So everybody will hack it and change it. Okay. So is this really hacking is happening means yes, we can do hacking. So no issues. There is a different types of hackings are there. Even recently, if you know or no, Indigo flight was Indigo flight hacking by the developer. For example, same like you and like me, a developer, he is the person. He was traveled in Indigo flight. Okay, but he lost his luggage in the somewhere else in the airport. He was trying to reach to the Indigo team, but nobody was not responding. Simply, he hacked the website and found his luggage. But how he hacked also, they are explaining everything here. Okay, na? Okay, so still we can able to hack everything. But is there any security lags are there? Okay, see, however, I press the F12, right? Same here also, he is pressing the F12 and did the operation. He was successfully found his luggage. Okay. So next, the question, for example, if I refresh this browser, so the data will be re-changed. Yes, the data will be rechanged. But if I'm trying to purchase this one, in that request, the same data will be maintained. Okay. Na? Okay. So that is the reason. Here my intention is explaining about a server. So we can't able to develop an application without a server. So server is
Security.
definitely required. It will become a security between the user interface and the database. So server provides the security between a user interface and a database. Okay, so we'll take a note. So what is a database? Database. So database is a physical information storage. So in the Hyderabad, we're having the cyber towers, right? Basically, the cyber towers initially in the past, they constructed for the database storage, data store. Okay. Once their database storage was the is there, the nearby companies are started. Next, server. What is a server? Server is a bridge between the server is a bridge between the user interface and database. Server is a bridge between the user interface and database. What server do? Server will do? Server will take a request from the user interface and validate the request. Again, we are validating the request and sending it to database. Next, again, it will take a server will take data from database and send it to user interface. Okay, na? So this is the what server is doing. So in this process, the server is validating the data. Server will validate data and request and response. It will validate request. It will validate the data as well as the request and as well as the response. Okay, na? Hope everybody is clear, right? Next, our focus UI. So what is the UI? UI is nothing but a user interface. Is a presentation layer. So it is simply display the data. Display the data coming from a server. So this software application was using the web application development, mobile application development. Okay, na? Any type of applications. We are using a three-tier architecture. Okay, data science, AI, ML, all these applications. Database, server, and user interface. So now let us start with the web application. So what is a web application? Anyone? Can you please interact? So what is a web application? For example, Amazon is a web application. Gmail is a web application. What is mean by web application? So a web application is a software component. Basically, any application is a software component. Okay, na? It was developed by using web technologies and run on web browser. Okay, basically our web application is a software component. It was developed by using web technologies and run on a web browser. Okay, so web application is a software component. It was developed by using web technologies and run on a web browser. So again, mobile application. Mobile application is a software component. It was developed by using mobile technologies, iOS or Android, and run on a mobile app. Mobile app, not a mobile browser, mobile app. Okay. So now, what are the web technologies and types of web applications we'll discuss. So types. How many types of web applications are there? Basically, two types. Web applications are two types. The type one is the static web application. Type one is a static web application. Static means where user cannot able to interact. Okay, na? So some applications they just display the data. That's it. Information. Static web application. So static means user can able to see the website and can't able to interact. Just you can able to see the information. That's it. You can't able to interact. Okay. So how to build a static web applications? Static web applications built by using HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. That's it. HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. Next, dynamic web applications. What is mean by dynamic web applications? Dynamic in the sense user interactable web applications. So user interactable web applications are called dynamic web applications. Okay, na? So how to build a dynamic applications? Dynamic web applications built by using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and JavaScript. So dynamic is nothing but a static plus JavaScript. Developing an application static HTML, CSS, Bootstrap plus JavaScript. So these are the two types of applications. So now what are the web technologies finally? So web technologies are HTML, CSS, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Only three web technologies are there. But what about my Bootstrap? What about my ReactJS? Yes, I will come to that point. Okay. So here, World Wide Web, WWW means World Wide Web providing a World Wide Web providing a possibility to develop any framework or library on the top of web technologies. So on the top of web technologies. So our World Wide Web, given a restriction, you should not create alternative to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. For example, we are having the Java, correct? So what is the alternative of Java? Python, .NET, PHP. Same for .NET. Java is the alternative. PHP is the alternative. Okay, but World Wide Web restricting you should not create alternative for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You should be follow the same. But if you want to create any framework or library, you can able to develop. There is a reason. So, for example, if you open any website in any browser in any country, look and feel is same or different. So my question is just answer. If you open any website in any country, in any browser, the look and feel will change or same. Chrome or Microsoft Edge or IE, Mozilla.
It remains same.
It was same. The reason was, so for example, everybody developing their own web technologies. For example, different companies are there. Different companies are trying to develop their own libraries or the frameworks, different server technologies. So if HTML, CSS was changed, the look and feel will be changed. Okay, so there is no consistent. So every website will behaves different. If I open Amazon in the Chrome, it will be behaves differently. If I open in the Microsoft Edge or Mozilla, the look and feel will become a change. So that is the reason to maintain the consistent across the browsers and across the countries. They're saying like you should be follow HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That is the reason. Otherwise, Chinese people are different companies already into coming to the market. They would develop own Chinese HTML or Japanese HTML. So because of that restriction, so nobody is not trying to develop. But you can able to change the language. Okay, the format everything is same, but you can able to change the language to Telugu or Hindi or Urdu or English, Chinese, Japanese. Okay, the content data can change, but format everything was same. That is my image. Okay. So next, so HTML. What is mean by HTML? Hope everybody know. Hyper text markup language. Hypertext markup language. So what is the purpose of HTML? What is the purpose of HTML? Just add it. It is right or wrong? Just add it. Okay, so that we will become interact. What is the purpose of HTML?
To develop UI.
Correct. So the purpose of HTML is to develop web applications. To develop web apps. Who developed this HTML? It was developed by Tim Berners-Lee. Tim Berners-Lee. So when it was developed, basically it started in the 1980, but officially released in 1993. So 1993 is the official release date of HTML 1.0, 2.0. Officially released. Okay, in the 1993. The first starting of software application was, the first starting of web application is from the HTML. Okay, hope you taken notes. So still the Tim Berners-Lee was alive. Tim Berners-Lee. Okay, he is the scientist. Okay, his age was 68 years. Okay, so basically he developed. So let me explain his journey. Basically, he's a computer scientist guy in the nuclear research center. Okay, so he's the first computer. Okay, basically he worked from the nuclear research center. So after World War II, so every country, yesterday I said you, every country trying to work on elements. So that is the reason. If you observe HTML, HTML contains elements, correct? Elements. So what is mean by element? So element is nothing but a reactable item, correct? So that is the reason. So this person is working inside of the nuclear research center, but what is his role? He has an idea. Can we maintain our research documents instead of physically, virtually? Can we transfer these research documents virtually from one place to another place? Yes. So he got an idea in the 1990 1980, and he developed and concluded in the 1990, but officially released in the 1993. Okay, hope you got it. So because of the World War II, so entire it was changing the different lifestyle. So nowadays we are using the web application to purchase an item, correct? To transfer the money without stepping. Other than your daily activities, we can do everything. Okay, so that is the web applications nowadays. So now these applications are become robots. So Naina AI robot. Anybody seen this one? The first AI in our India. Okay, but everything looks like she's the robot. She's the robot. Robot. But everything looks like so her talking. Everything looks like a woman only. Okay, so that is the technology nowadays. Are you able to hear?
No, we are unable to.
Not able to hear?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe after the session you can able to check it. So that is the web applications nowadays. Applications are changed from just a visualization to physical. Okay, na? But seems like a normal how a girl is going to behave. Naina also behaving the same. Everything she can able to walk. She is the influencer. So Instagram influencer. Okay, influencer in the sense they are going to marketing. They are going to be doing marketing. Okay, AI tools. So she taken the interviews of actors also. Okay, you can able to go and find in her Instagram. So by seeing this long back, I also getting class. So seems like first time, if you don't know she's the robot, everybody feel like you. So that is the technologies nowadays. So maybe in 2 to 3 years, we can able to expect nowadays in the restaurant also. Robots came, but not to walking robots, moving robots. Yes, Arjun, you have some doubt? So now the question from the Arjun is so static and dynamic application. See, Wikipedia is the just example of a static application. Can you able to interact? Wikipedias are nothing but a just you can able to see the information about a specific content. Correct? So in this case, JavaScript was not required. Just HTML, CSS, Bootstrap presentation. Okay, Arjun. So
Okay.
if you want to build a interactable, for example, I want to provide a feedback. Okay, for example, so as I said, he's the person that thought was maintaining the physical documents in a virtual, in a computer system. So finally, he developed a HTML and he was displaying the documents. But just to see it, so this is my Amazon website. I will remove the HTML, sorry, I will remove the styles. Okay, so styles will be relay inside of head section, correct? So I'm removing this head section. So see website now. So see the website now, how it was looks like. Okay, able to see?
Not yet.
Okay, so let me remove again.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tim Berners-Lee developed HTML itself, but without a styling, can we feel like a HTML? No. So that is the reason again he taking the help of other person. So see, this is the website now without a CSS, only pure HTML. Okay, so if you know the web technologies, we can able to play it. Okay, but these developer tools, if you don't know, don't worry. I will explain you in the coming sessions. So just
Yeah.
inspect. This is the developer tools. Here you can able to see entire code. Okay, head and body section. Bodies for the content. I will give the note. Okay. So now he has an issue. So he can able to display the data, but without a specific format. Okay. So then he contacted a person, Hakan whom like. Okay, na? So this person developed a CSS. Yeah. So now HTML plus CSS, where you can able to expect a clear website with a design and a beautification. Okay, na? So next, take it as a CSS. Your doubt is clear, right? So static means user can't able to interact, where you can able to just look and see the information. Static. So if you develop a website using HTML, CSS means that is simply called as a static. First, we will develop a static applications. Then we'll go for a dynamic applications. Okay, Arjun? CSS for
Yeah.
stands for
Yeah.
cascading style sheet. Okay, na? What is the
Is it?
purpose?
Say the name. Yes.
Purpose is beautify the beautify the content. Beautify the content to be displayed. Correct? What is the purpose of CSS? Beautify the content to be displayed. Who is the other? Can Econo who live. So when he was developed this one in the year of 1995. in the 1995, he developed the CSS. So HTML plus CSS, where you can able to visualize the exact website. Okay. Next, so before going to be discussed about JavaScript, so let us create a sample some applications. So now we need to be discussed about a software requirements. Software requirements. So what are the software requirements to develop a web application? First one is any application. The first one is the technology. What are the technology we are using? HTML, CSS, JavaScript. In detail, we'll see about a JavaScript. Okay. Next, compiler. So without a compiler, can you develop a software application? Tell me, can we develop a software application without a compiler? No.
Not possible.
So what is the compiler for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Have you seen any time? Web browser. So what is the compiler for a web technologies or a web browser? Browser itself a compiler. Okay, na? So browser compiles HTML, CSS, JavaScript and display the content. Got it? So that is the reason once you are loading any website, it will take some fraction of seconds to compile and display. Okay, so that is the reason. Once we are installing the Chrome compiler is going to be installed. Okay, so web browser is nothing but a compiler. Okay, next. IDE. So if you want to develop any applications, an IDE is required. So which IDE we are using? IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Okay, na IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. So to develop a web application, so we can use Notepad, VS Code. Okay, any IDE we can able to use to develop a web applications. So what is the current version of HTML which everybody is using?
5.
Four.
HTML 5.4. So basically, HTML 1.0 only, but foreign persons, so they will not call the 0. So one is the reason 0 is nothing. Second reason is 0 was not implemented by. So they will call 0.4. Okay. So for example, so everybody do one thing, install the Notepad++. Okay. So everyone install the Notepad++. Okay. So from here you can able to download. I will show you, but we are not going to use the Notepad++. We are going to use the Visual Studio Code only. Okay, so it is installing. Next, I agree. Next, install. Okay, already have the Notepad++ which is running, so it is saying about not able to install. Okay, so once you have installed, it will simply open like this, empty Notepad++. You need to be select a language called HTML, and you need to be start writing a code. So to the browser, doc type HTML will tell about, so we are using the HTML. Okay, na? HTML. So always we require a closing and end tags. Okay, HTML, it is having the head section. Next we are having the body section. Okay, what is the purpose of head section? Head section is the purpose
Right.
is to write meta information. So head will not display the content. So it is using to include the links, styles, scripts. Okay. Body is to represent a content. Okay, now here we are going to be write a content. So here we are again having the meta information. Okay. So this is our skeleton of web applications. So take it as a skeleton, skeleton of web application. Okay, if you know these things, don't feel like I know everything. I know this one. Just have a note. Okay, but you will get a clarity, the clear information. Skeleton of web application. So take it as a, so this is your doc type HTML means it indicates a HTML5 version. Yeah, Prashant.
uh, how to
Yeah.
write a code, how to write a code,
How to write a?
how to write a code.
Okay, I will tell you again. First, can you please take this one?
Yeah.
Okay, can you please take this syntax? HTML
Yeah.
is nothing but a root element. Okay, so head is for the meta information. Meta in the sense adding links, scripts here. Okay, so body is to display the content. Okay, is it done? Is that done, team? Take a notes. Okay, so let me explain again. So just open a notepad plus plus. Okay, na? So notepad plus plus. Go to the language. H for HTML. Okay, Prashant. So now you need to write a HTML. So the starting point of HTML is a doc type HTML. Okay. Next, we need to write a HTML. The HTML is nothing but a root tag. This HTML is nothing but a root tag. Okay. So every time you need to be give a space. Sometime, so by mistake or habitually you may write continuously. So this is not a correct. Enter a tab space. What we need to enter a tab space? We need to mention a head. Okay. The head is the place to write a meta information. Meta in the sense, see, it will involve links, scripts, tags, browser title. Next, search engine optimization, SEO, will be implemented inside of head section. Okay, but not 100%. 70% of SEO coming from the search engine optimization. What is mean by SEO means, for example, you are opening and trying to type something. Best place near to me or best place to go for a picnic. Okay, best place to visit. So it is going to be displayed on websites. From that website, the clear picture, clear information will be there. But Google search engine, how, on which basis it is taking the information, that is depend on the SEO tags. I will explain it. Next, body. Body is nothing but it is used to write a content and display it. Okay. So welcome to, we can see, fine. Okay, and save it. Anyway, just create some folder. So I am creating this one inside of okay, some folder. Okay, so let me run it. Okay, so this is the Opera. My default browser is the Opera. Let me open in a Google Chrome. So welcome to VKC Training. So now what the Chrome is doing? So here the Chrome was a compiler. It is compiling your code. This is your code. Okay, the code was compiling and displaying the content only. It will not display other things. It will display directly the content. So for this content, if you want to add a script and the styles, we can able to add it. Okay, so everybody was clear up to here. So that's it for today's session. In the today's session, we just had a discussion about applications, types of web application, and we have seen about web technologies, who develop the web technologies and which year. So today we just seen the sample application. In the tomorrow session, I will show you how to create a web applications. So in the Visual Studio Code. Next, even web application also, there is a specific architecture. We must follow an architecture of simple. So you are creating a welcome example.html, right? Welcome example.html, right? Even to create this one also, we should be follow some architecture. So we need to create assets. So we need to create a JavaScript files, a script files, okay, style files, image files, and some other HTML files. There is some pattern. For example, if I am asking you, create one more example means what you will do? Again, you are going to be creating one more file, correct? Okay, so there is a certain pattern we need to be creating even for the static application also. Okay, so in the tomorrow session, I will explain you. Next, C. This is nothing but which language? English only, correct? English only. But writing in English also, there are 4 different cases are there. Camel case, snake case, Pascal case, and chain case. Okay, na? So in which situation, what type of cases? See, if you want to write alphabets, first alphabet, second, third, and fourth. Different types are there, na? Same like here also. Okay, if I say to write, okay, capital A, small a. Okay, so we are going to be write it differently, correct, right? So like this. So we are using the programming language is English. But as per the standards, if you want to write a programming language, you must understand 4 cases. Okay, what are those cases? We'll explain how to create a static application architecture, what are the rules and regulations and cases. We'll continue the sessions by in the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so take a question, sir. So what have discussed today? What is an application and a web application? Okay, types of web applications, types of web applications, types of web applications. Next, what is the web application compiler? What is the web application compiler? Next, skeleton of HTML. So we have discussed simple skeleton of HTML. So today your task is from the day one tasks are simple, but you should be complete by every day itself. Okay, so today task is create a static application. Okay, na? I'm displaying a my welcome note. Try to create an image, try to create a table. All these are simple. We'll see in detail in tomorrow.